Good afternoon, everyone. It's 22 minutes past 4 here in the UK on a glorious afternoon here in West London on the 22nd of July, and that means the American session has been running nearly 2 hours. As you can see, the advances and the declines pretty much the same. The S&P sitting at 3250, 3259, up 1.5 points from yesterday. The Dow is up 72 points. So still early in the day. Short-term trend in Vector-based is up, the longer-term trend is up, and we've got a confirmed up situation. So all looking quite good there. I have been accused of being married to AMD, and I think that that's probably correct. Let me make this a little bit stronger. That's AMD, folks, over the last 5 years. That's a weekly chart, and AMD, a very exciting company. Vector-based reckons it's going to grow earnings strongly over next year, and this is the progress of AMD up, and the reason that it's rising is this increase in earnings per share. Earnings per share rising smoothly over the last 5 years, and this is the engine that's driving that share price up. At Vector-based, the founder, Dr. DeLeo, says that if you find the very, very best stocks, that alone will help your portfolio do well. And AMD is a really good example of a share that's growing its share price, and earnings per share is growing smoothly without a great deal of volatility. Some of the people in Vector-based UK, 3 gentlemen, have named those stocks earnings per share kings. If we look at AMD over the last 6 months, maybe a bit more, this is the sell-off. Okay, and it produced earnings per share over the last 6 months rising as well from 80 cents to $1.20, which is quite something. And then it charted this cup, and what I felt was a handle formation, and I've been sweating in the share since down around here. I got stopped out of it once at entry, and then I got back into it again, and I'm hoping the share has broken, folks, this afternoon. Still early days, only 2 hours into the session, but nevertheless this is quite a strong move in AMD. Where should the thing go? Well, the old-fashioned technicians would say that this bit, like from there to there, should be repeated. So that would be $40 to $60, which is $20, so it could easily get to $80 in this move. Keep your eyes peeled on that. I'm holding the share, and I'm hoping for a big move. I've held it longer than I would normally hold a share. In Market Wizards, there's a guru called Ed Sekoita who says that rule number 1 is to follow your rules, and rule number 2 is to know when not to follow your rules. And I had some intuitive feel based on the fundamentals on Vector-based that this thing was going to break, and break strongly. If we have a look at those fundamentals, here we are, viewers, there's the watch list. It's got a RV of 1.48. That means that it should outperform the risk-free rate by 48% over the next 3 years. Relative safety is 1.3, so this is a share that's rarely let anybody down. The short-term trend is strongly up, and look at that brute of a CI, which measures the long-term trend at 1.6. And Vector-based believes that this share is going to grow its earnings by 33% next year. That is quite something. Okay, that's why I give it a little bit of extra time. I'm hoping that that's going to work for me. Lulu's still doing well. Horton's well up today, so I'm reasonably well pleased with all of these holdings. I'm holding Horton, Lulu, AMD, Coop, and I bought into Coop last week, and Coop is doing its best to break. Let's see what happens today. I bought into it just above the high of that little green bar there, and the trade is in the money, and clearly it's got to break these highs over the next day or two. That looking reasonably good. TTD has been such an outstanding trade, and clearly the gold price has in fact caused the GDX to do exceptionally well. Squares up today as well, so reasonably happy with those. Those are all spread bets for me, folks, and this period of spread betting has been very, very profitable on US stocks, and I've mentioned on many occasions the uni search that I use to find those, and it's a very, very simple uni search that I use both in the UK and in the USA to try and find stocks that can move. There's no relative safety in this particular search, folks, so it's looking for shares with strong growth fundamentals. Again, I look at the CI. The CI must be above 1.2. That's the baseline of CI, and I'm looking for a reasonable traded volume. No safety in there. You can put safety in there, but if you're a swing trader, we're managing risk proactively with stop loss orders. You may feel that you're happier putting an RS greater than 1 there. I've sorted all of the shares. You get a lot of shares out of this, but I've sorted them by CI, which is the long-term trend, times growth rate. So I'm looking for the shares with the best combination of long-term trend and earnings growth rate. And that, for example, if I go back just to the start of June, which is what, not quite 8 weeks away, and I run that search, and I do a quick test of the top 10, no items to test, quick test of the top 10, and that, folks, the market's up 7% and that search is up 34%. As I've told you many times before, I'd be much better off just buying them without looking at them, but because I have got 35 years of technical analysis experience, I'm always looking to the chart to try and finesse a really good and elegant low risk entry, and sometimes really strong shares don't come back to my perfect entry point and I simply miss them. Nevertheless, the process is working exceptionally well. So that's a very simple search, and it's working well for swing trades in both the UK and the USA. So let's have a look at the UK itself, and this is an end of day chart, folks, and as you can see, all is good. The UK off a little bit today on Brexit woes, I think. That's what certainly what Bloomberg have reported the cause of the sell-off today. So we've got the American market up, and the last time I looked, the FTSE was off a little bit. We're still in an up situation, and if I go to my portfolio, I haven't made any changes since I've last reported here, and these should be sorted by RT. That brings the shares that are moving strongly to the top of the pile, and HOC is at the top of the pile. It's had a great run. It's a great example of what I try and teach in the courses and in the Monday afternoon seminars, a thing called a spring, made famous by Richard Wyckoff 100 years ago. There was a great spring on Games Workshop, and Anglo is the third in the pile. I only bought into that last week, folks. So the only one that's worrying me is that the only one that's actually underwater is this AAZ. That's the only share that's underwater at the moment. So the rest of them are going reasonably well. As I've told you many times before, I'm going to do my best to try and hold on to these as long as the overall market is positive, as measured by the DEW market timing system, and that system is still saying that it's safe to be in the stock market. HOC is a really good share to look at because it illustrates the spring so beautifully, and when the spring works, let's have a look at a view. There's the push up, back once, couldn't make a new high, comes back, runs those stops, and then legs it in the other direction, to use the language of my youth. As you can see, this move up on very high volume, telling me that this is not over yet, but I think we must assume soon that we'll get a pullback, and those of you that are long-term holders of this or wish to be long-term holders, then I'm afraid that you're going to have to handle a pullback to that last old high. I think that those people that missed this, the smart money, will be waiting for a pullback to whatever that level is, 225, before getting on board again. But it looks good for more moves. Clearly, it's a function of the gold price itself and the silver price, and both those have been moving. Especially silver had a major breakout yesterday, so that's just great. And I'm indebted to Steve from our Oxford user group who gave me the heads up on this a couple of weeks ago, and I bought it straight away after his email, because I saw the spring formation. So we have a huge level of expertise in our user groups, and anybody that takes a 30-day trial of Vyckoff will have access to those. All of the user groups are online these days, so you have access to a great pool of trading experience, not just listening to me and my favorite hobby horses. So steady as she goes in the UK. Certainly the UK market has not given us the fireworks of the US market. Nevertheless, our selections are certainly up by 20 to 25% since the start of April, and that's just pretty good. I'm very happy with that. So folks, just stay strong. Let's watch for these big corporate earnings out of the US, and keep our eye on the Vyckoff market timing with the DEW signal. As long as it stays up, then I think we're reasonably safe in this move. The move is mature, so we need to be in fact diligent, and I think watching that market timing chart pretty much every evening at this stage of the game. I hope this helps. Thanks very much indeed.